and I think we're ready to go.
Cool.
So here comes, let's see, I did do the proper split. I did. All right, here we go, everybody. Sit back, relax, enjoy. While let me make sure everything's good here. That's normal. Okay, that's normal. Okay, got everything. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
We'll only air episodes involving whales and really big sea creatures.
Isn't that every episode?
I could host on location from the Caribbean with a few humpbacks, maybe a giant seahorse.
That's ridiculous!
Obey your air raid warden.
The Morning Stream. We're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
I don't have any memory of what that's about. Why isn't this turning
really?
down?
Yeah, that was Lethal Weapon 2, I think.
Was it? Why am I
Yes,
thinking-
and
there we go. Got it.
somebody wrote that in a script. Well, it's certainly possible that was improvised because I think a lot of the Lethal Weapon stuff was improvised. But
Yeah. It must have been, because what I have is I have a whole bunch of ancient Fletcher clips that they're not new. Some people think they're new, like he's giving me new ones, but some of them are just really old that we never used for Film Sack as the movie got bumped, or I held on to his little intro bits or whatever.
yeah,
And now they make for really good TMS intros, so that's what we got here.
perfect. Yeah, especially that one, which is not even on the first page of dumbest things that Mel Gibson has ever said.
No, there's a whole list, man. We don't even want to get into that, do we?
Yeah.
We do not. Well, anyway, hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett, and we have a show for you.
Hello.
Yeah, it's a Thursday, and there's a lot going on around here. I want to remind people of the morning forum. We're not going to actually give it away on Monday because we won't be here. We'll be in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's right.
But the winner will be picked the following Monday, and then we'll do a new one and all that. So anyway, if you haven't already entered, go do it. frogpants.com/themorningforum. A Frog Pants fun pack is on the line, and you could be the random winner. So go check that out.
Frog Pants Fun Pack.
I hear some coffee. That really wakes me up to hear it. I don't even have
Did you
to
hear
drink
me
it.
pouring the coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's like
I have a
my little
psychosomatic.
my diner carafe. Hey,
Yeah.
honey, can I refill your coffee?
I feel
Now,
I feel a weird sense of like I don't need the caffeine that's in there, but me hearing it does something to my head. It's weird.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Does Kim drink coffee or no?
She does, and she has
She does.
all sorts of fancy tastes and that sort
Sure.
of stuff.
So, like, let's say you guys go to a diner.
Yeah.
And you're having your breakfast. You get your coffee, and Kim puts. Does she have sugar and cream or?
She'll do some
sweet
cream,
low?
a little sugar, maybe. She's more of a like, ooh, what weird flavor do you have here? And
Gotcha.
she'll try
Like,
that.
oh, a hazelnut.
Yeah.
Blah. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, she'll try all that.
So then she probably isn't then getting the refills when they come around and say, "Could I refill your coffee?"
Oh, right. Yeah, not
Tina-
normally, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Tina works very hard on getting just the right balance of sugar and cream until the coffee is just perfect, and then she drinks some, and then when the waitress comes around or the server comes around to say, "Can I top you off?" she physically blocks, sometimes with both hands, her coffee because she's gotten it to exactly the right flavor profile.
Oh, wait, she'll like go like hands over cup and
Like she'll just, especially if her mouth is full, she'll be like, like cover it up. Like, no, try pouring that coffee through my hand into the cup. Just try it.
oh man, that's hardcore.
Yeah, she is I'm like, oh sure, I've already like splendid and creamed mine. Hello,
Hello.
That's a title right there.
Yeah.
And I don't care if like they top it off and it's like, oh well, now it's a little bit more coffee flavored. How is it? Oh, it's very good. It's a different thing.
Yeah,
But,
that's crazy. So when she does it, is she just like full on like here's the little creamer, here's a little sugar, and she's going
Yeah,
taste
it is. She, little taste. Nope, a little more sugar. Nope, a little more creamer. And it's not a far-fetched thing to see Tina after her first cup of coffee with an array of empty little plastic creamer cups and scattered sugar packets, partially in full, partially empty, partially full.
I love it. I love it. It's quirky and weird. I love it. That's
It is
awesome.
totally quirky and weird, but
Yeah,
that's why I love her.
That's great. Here's some quirky. This is just in. We got breaking news.
Good.
breaking
news.
It's almost a terrible use of the word because it's kind of, well, you'll get why. SpaceX had a big important launch today. Yes. And they launched their Starship rocket, and it was a big deal. And what I love about it was, there's my favorite thing. They did a little report afterwards, and this was the quote from SpaceX directly. As if the flight test was not exciting enough, the Starship experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly before stage separation.
Disassembly.
Yeah. So
a forceful disassembly.
So I'm going to start saying rapid, unscheduled disassembly anytime something breaks, explodes, pops, whatever I need. A tire blows out. Oh, what happened? My tire had a rapid, unscheduled disassembly.
That's as great a euphemism as a conscious uncoupling.
That's also good. I like.
We didn't break up. We had a conscious uncoupling.
Yeah, it feels like they're trolling us just a little bit by calling it that. But
that's right. I beat you, Genie Saurus. By the way, I know that there's a delay on the chat.
Yeah.
But Scott can verify. I said that right before you typed
confirmed.
that in the chat.
Confirmed. But it also says that you're both of the same mind and also
great
quality smart
alike.
people. Yeah.
Yes.
So well done,
Genie
you guys.
Saurus.
Well done to both of you.
You're the best Saurus, I should say.
Oh yeah, you're not a Prickosaurus, which is what we used to call people we didn't like in high school.
Really, a Prickosaurus?
Prickosaurus, yeah. It was like, if it was somebody who's super rude, like they'd say, what do you think of, I don't know, Terry? And I'd go, that dude's a Prickosaurus. That's how you say it. I don't know why, that was just a thing that stuck, and we did it all the time. Okay, we got a morning form reminder. We've done that. How about a great Vegas question in the form of a call, Brian? How about that?
Love it. I love Vegas questions.
All right,
Send
good.
me your Vegas question.
Here it is. I'll play it.
Hey, Brian and Scott. This is for TMS. This is Andy. I hope y'all are doing well. We got TMS Vegas coming up next week, and I'm excited about that. I'm going to karaoke night, and that got me thinking of this question to ask you all. I'm wondering if you could sound like any singer that you wanted to, who would it be? For me, I think it's either Chris Cornell, just because he's just got an amazing voice and can be so much energy and so much passion, just from one moment to the next. Or it's Brad Roberts, the Crash Test Dummies guy. Whoa, there was a girl who...
Yeah, I like that he did a little sample at the end. That was great.
Brad Roberts is I think an even better pick. I love Chris Cornell's voice. I think nobody, just like the title of his cover album, nobody sings like him anymore.
That's true. But in the context of like getting up and doing karaoke, there's no better choice than the Crash Test Dummies guy. Because it's just so awesome. You get up there and go, it doesn't matter what the song is.
But he doesn't. I love Brad Roberts, and there's a great. He did a great solo album, a live album called Crash Test Dude, and he covers things like androgyny. He covers. He does some old Crash Test Dummy songs, but I feel like people are going to get sick of you going up there. At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
I don't know, you're selling me on it though.
Am I really? Is it really? Okay.
You're selling me on it. I don't know, maybe I would get tired of it. But I like it.
You could be my silver spring.
I love that Superman song he does. I could hear that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What would you? So who would you choose? What do you got?
Adele. No. Listen, if I could sing like Adele, hell yes.
Yeah,
like,
why wouldn't you?
I mean,
why wouldn't you? Yeah, especially in her, even her high-pitched female voice. Imagine that coming from Brian from a stage.
Yeah. No, I will tell you exactly who it is, and people are going to go, who? As if I just said Star-Lord. But I'm going to say Paul Carrack. And there's maybe 8 people in the audience who are saying, oh, Paul Carrack, good choice. So Paul Carrack, from Squeeze. He was the lead singer. He only was with the band for 2 albums, two albums about 15 years apart. But his big song with Squeeze was Tempted. tempted by the fruit of another.
Oh, that song's great. Yeah.
That song is great, but he was also with Michael and the Mechanics for a long time, and their biggest hits, Silent Running, Can You Hear Me Running? Can you hear?
Yeah.
And what was the one about his father? Say it loud, say it clear.
Oh.
You can listen as well. Yeah, that one.
He's got some cool music.
Dude has some amazing range and one of the most controlled, soulful voices. Still sounds absolutely amazing. But,
okay. All right.
Yeah, Paul Carrack. If I could sound like anybody, frickin' Paul Carrack.
Okay.
Without a question.
That sounds fair. He's done songs with Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles, Diana Ross, Tom Jones, Michael McDonald.
From somewhere long ago. I'm living on a bridge, I don't know, please give me a sandwich. Maybe throw some change.
I miss that guy. Let's see. He's not dead. I think he's still alive.
No,
anyway.
he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still around.
Definitely still with us.
Elton John, Eric Clapton, Roxy Music. Man, that guy busy. Ringo Starr.
He's like. Here's what you do, and I'll bet I haven't even looked, but I'll bet if you go into Apple Music and say Paul Carrack Essentials or something like that, you will get a playlist that will blow your mind as far as the range, the width and breadth of his music, of his contributions.
See, and my concept of this is, how goofy do I want to be? Do I want to be? Thank you, Derek. Do I want to be like
Tiny Tim?
Yeah, or something. Like Ronnie James Dio doing Feelings or something. Like just a like one of those metal hair guys,
Rob Halford or something.
Yeah, something like that, where everyone's just like, "Whoa, I can't believe that version of." I don't know what's a karaoke staple.
Total Eclipse of the Heart is the number one.
Is it really?
I don't know if it really is. You know what? That's a really good question. I bet that, Carafun and all these karaoke apps should be able to tell you what the most karaoke song is. I'll bet it's different now than it was 20 years ago. But 20 years ago, clearly it was Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Well, let's see what Billboard says.
Oh, is there like a Billboard chart of most karaoke music?
There's one their list is the greatest 100 karaoke songs. So this might be just their picks.
Okay.
I think it is just their picks, but let me see if I can
Sweet
find.
Caroline's got to be up there. Yeah.
So it's number one they claim is Shania Twain's "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" from 1998.
God, yeah, it's oh my God, we're here at this bachelorette party. We should totally get up there and do "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." Let's get all 6 of us up there and we're totally drunk.
Yep, you're not wrong. And then for the men, it's or maybe the women still. Backstreet Boys' "I Want It That Way" is number 2. I want it.
My fire, my one.
And you see the little dot going.
Desire.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's always videos of some random couple walking on the beach with the words in front of it.
Yep, that's the rule. There's also they got Gloria Gaynor's "I Will Survive." It's a pretty good one.
I did that one with my Brad Roberts.
You got your Queen Bohemian Rhapsody. That makes sense.
Oh, that's a bad choice.
You think bad choice?
I think bad choice because there's so much going on in that song. You're not going to be able to do, oh mamma mia, let me go Beelzebub, and which there's harmonies going on there. Which voice do you do for Beelzebub's Got a Devil Put Aside for Me? And,
you'd have to have it has to be mandatory multiple people at once, and they'd have to be coordinated in a way that's.
It'd have to be organized, and only one of you can do Any Way the Wind Blows.
Yep, and it has to be the guy that can go a little high. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, "Shallow" from that movie, The Star Is Born. Dale.
Star Is Born, yeah.
Alanis Morissette's "You Ought to Know" is number 6.
Okay, that's I'm drunk and I'm gonna do this because I'm pissed off.
Yeah, that's right. I'm mad. I got a jagged pill stuck somewhere and I'm mad. Number 7, they have Nicki Minaj.
Job, by the way, I want to commend you. This might be the first time you haven't said bitterest.
Yeah, I got it right.
For Alanis Morissette. So
I got it right. Yes. I have a little Post-it note right here that says,
Dude.
never say that
Alanis
again.
equals bitterest, or Alanis equals jagged. The jam equals bitterest.
That's right. Number 7, a song I don't even know. Maybe I do. Nicki Minaj's "Super Bass" from 2010. Do we know that?
Yeah, we probably know it. I would not be able to.
I do not know what that is. Garth Brooks' "Friends in Low Places."
Ugh.
I don't want to be at that karaoke.
I don't need to hear that song ever again, thanks to the 90s and being a wedding DJ.
Yeah. And I got I have fond thoughts about Garth Brooks as a person.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
But I don't like his music very much.
He's a mensch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, number 9, Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
There we go. It had to be up there somewhere.
Finally, number 10, Brandy and Monica singing The Boy Is Mine.
The Boy Is Mine.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. 98. A lot of 97, 98s in here.
Yeah.
What happened there? That's weird, isn't it? Girls Just Want to Have Fun. There's an old one. There's some of these down the list.
Sure.
Four Non-Bloods.
Shot. Somewhere, some Pat Benatar on there, I'm guessing.
Yeah, Benatar's in here. Aretha Franklin's Respect is a big one.
Yeah.
B-52's Love Shack. That sounds right.
Course.
I do that. I got me, I cry. I do that part.
Sure. Well, let's, there is going to be a karaoke night going on in Vegas, and we'll drag you there, and the only thing you have to do is, I got me a Chrysler. It seats about 20.
All right. You know what? You may have just, I hate karaoke, but you may have just made the one case for what I would be willing to do. I'll get up and do Fred. What's his name? Fred
Schneider.
Fred Schneider? Yeah.
Fred
I'll do
Schneider.
that. Down. That guy. He's great.
And then we get Claire to go, tin roof.
That's right.
Rusted.
Yeah.
God damn it.
All right.
God damn it.
Yeah, there it is. Let's say, a quick fond farewell to my in-laws. Many of you who have come to Nerdtaculars before will remember Steve and Sarah, Kim's sister Sarah and her husband Steve. They're always there, and they're always helping with stuff, and kind of you'd always see, if we had an event, they were there if it was local. Anyway, they they bought a bunch of land in Mississippi, and they left today in a giant 25-foot truck and 3 cars that includes them, their 2 kids, they're still home, and 5 dogs, because she's a breeder, and so she has to take these dogs with her. I don't know how that's going to go for a 25-hour drive. But they're on their way down there. They're building down there. They've got this amazing property. It's 10 acres, but part of the acreage overlays a lake, and that will be their land. So they can put a dock on there and stock it with fish and all that. Yeah,
so cool.
It's pretty awesome. It's going to take him a while, and Steve's going to build his dream shop, and I'm really excited for him. But it kind of sucks because they've been here as long as we have. Her sister moved up here just shortly after Kim did back in the 90s. And this is their first time going anywhere else that's out of state. They were in Ohio for a couple of years. But anyway, fondest farewell. They might be listening right now. Everyone be nice. Oscar, don't be mean to your mom. What else? I hope the dogs don't puke. Good luck to everybody. Because that dog is a car puker. One of them is.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. In 25 hours. I mean, you basically have to just give that dog nothing but... liquid diet for the whole ride.
Yeah,
right?
It's funny though too, because the other 4 are all pretty chill, no big deal. But this one, just a little bit of a nightmare. But anyway, we're gonna miss them. But they stayed here last night, slept on a mattress because their house is all cleared out. And
wow,
all that stuff. We had 5 dogs sleeping down here.
The mattress. Great. It's the mattress. Can't you see? It's the mattress.
It's the mat. We've got to get rid of that mattress.
Got to get rid of the mattress.
Yeah, everybody go watch.
Hellraiser.
Go watch Hellraiser. It'll make you'll understand. All right.
The weirdest out of context comment I think.
I think so, but it works for me. All right, we're gonna get Red Fraggle in here. You might know her as Red Fraggle, or you might know her as Amy. Amy's coming to Vegas, but also a part of the show on the weekly. She does a Thursday episode thing, and we're going to do it right now.
One of the things that I enjoy also is reading.
Oh, us too. And the reason we enjoy reading oftentimes is because our good friend Amy comes by and gives us great recommendations that we can then go read ourselves. Amy, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
Every time I hear my little, welcome music, I sit here in my chair, my head bops back and forth, and I'm just I'm skipping along down a little path. I love it. I love my music.
There's a little visual, right? A little animated visual that seems to go with that in our heads.
Yeah,
sure.
you are. You're our Geordie, or not Geordie Forge. You're our LeVar Burton here, our little personal reader.
I do picture Amy with actually a picnic basket full of books.
Yeah,
like you said, skipping down a path with flowers on either side, and perhaps there is a rainbow behind her.
Oh, look!
There you go.
Oh, this is a
there
great visual.
Go.
Well, it's good
Take
to have
a look.
you here.
It's in a book.
That's right. Take a look. It's in a book, The Reading Rainbow. Hey, you brought something with you this week for reading. That'll be good because, for people who are traveling, maybe overseas for our big event, maybe they could grab this book and read it on the plane, that sort of thing.
Well, in light of that, I actually, as far as the books are concerned, it's several, but they're short. And so today, friends, is Poetry Day.
Poetry.
And it's going to be lovely. So
all right, I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes.
No, trust me, you want to stay.
I'm kidding.
Brian he's a poet at heart. All right. We're going to find out just how much here. All right, go ahead, lay it on us. What do we got?
Yeah. All right. Well, we can start with the clip that I brought. This one, Claire will enjoy this one, I think.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, we like doing things she enjoys. Here you go. Check it out.
The moon's gravity is only 1/6 of ours. My tits would be awesome there. Taking a bath on Earth, breasts float. The liver lifts off the kidney. The small of the back arches up and off the bottom of the tub, curling like an instep. And very quickly, the body forgets everything it knows about gravity and burden bearing. It's a house cat who is whisked through the legs of a visitor out the screen door into the night, and even before she's off the block, she loses all recollection of what her life has been. The food dish in the afternoons, the name you call her, the collar around her neck, whose tag may as well be blank. There are 2 ways to end a bath. In the movies, women step out of the tub and into a plush towel, often reflected in a steamed mirror in deference to the censors. I prefer to pull the plug and let it drain around me. The organs settle heavy on each other. The breasts flatten down against the ribs, hair clings to everything it can, and the body is re-yoked to itself. The posture that was appropriate for floating looks limp and broken now. The steaming human form on the bottom of the tub looks like it might have fallen there. The porcelain crater, a product of the impact, or maybe it was dropped there from the jaws of the house cat, out all night, play hunting. Whatever you get when you take a bath, the bath takes back. And those 5/6 are yours to carry.
I absolutely love that. This is awesome.
Is the weirdest haiku ever. I think that the syllables are totally wrong on this one.
Oh, it's this kind of poetry.
Counting. He's like, oh my God,
hey,
there's like 18,000 too many.
Exactly.
Wow. All right, so that sounds awesome. Yes. Who is this? She sounds familiar too. I don't know why.
Well, her name is Dessa, and she is a hip hop artist and poet, and also a short story author. She is amazing, and that was called Tits on the Moon. And
okay.
Which I just loved that. I saw her perform that live, and I just love the imagery, because I do that. I don't know if you guys do that, but like when you take a bath, like she says, you got a choice, right? You can get out when the water's still in there, or you can just sit there while it drains out, and as it drains out, you get heavier and heavier.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, that's so relatable.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been a long time since I've taken a bath. I don't know how obvious that is.
It's obvious, Brian, how horrible of a bath.
It's obvious how long it's been since I've taken a shower.
It'll be obvious when we get to Vegas. I'll tell you
that I've used any cleaning products whatsoever. Yeah. But no, I'm not a bath person for whatever reason. But when I did take baths, that's absolutely what I did, and it was less about, let's feel the gravity of stuff, like going back where it was when it's not floating, and more about, dang it, it's cold out there. I want to be in this warm water as long as possible.
Yeah. No, that's a good way of putting it. And I just did a bath the other night, just to sort of self-care, chill out, relax my muscles kind of thing. And same deal. I hit the thing and I listened to that sound of it swirling away and sucking its way out, and I just lay there until it's gone. I love it.
Yep.
So she was speaking my language for sure in this as well. And it sounds like even Brian, back when he took baths and
back in the day,
1985.
Back in the day when Brian bathed.
When I took care of myself back then.
Yeah.
I have several books that I can recommend with like a little short form poetry if anybody's interested. Some of them are great, and some of them are in fact haikus or just little short poems. One of them in Dessa's book called Spiral Bound, which is it contains poems and also some short stories. But this one is called My New Purpose. Without me, how would my headache get around? That's it. That's the whole poem.
That's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. And then I also wanted to recommend there are a few that you can go out on YouTube, and I'll put links up and everything for all of these because some of them are available on YouTube. Vance Gilbert has a poem called The Day Before November. And it is, I wanted to play that one, but it's like 5 minutes long, and there's no good place for me to clip it, but just trust me, you want to go listen to Vance, because Vance Gilbert, of course, is a singer-songwriter, but he has this one spoken word piece that is so haunting, and it's really good.
Never heard the name before, and he's known for this. Like he's, should I know him? I feel like I should know him.
I don't know. I mean, Brian probably does. But yeah, Vance Gilbert, he's a singer-songwriter. He has a lot of songs, but they're not like, he's kind of an indie artist. So
no karaoke hits from this guy that you're aware of?
No,
Okay.
no. I mean, I would, because Chuck knows how to play a bunch of them on the guitar, so I karaoke that. But that doesn't make it, that doesn't make it so. No. And then I have mentioned before Jim Infantino. He also has a slim volume of poems. A lot of them are like lyrics to his songs, but there are also some poems in here, like one called "I Woke." And it says, I woke in the blue morning. You smiled and kissed me. I rubbed your belly, dissolving all facts. A warm ellipse, a smile, a kiss, and this, and this. And the sky would be out all day.
Wow.
I love that one.
Wow. That one gets in your cheese and melts it.
That
That's
one
pretty
makes
good.
my bottom tingle.
Ooh. Hello.
So,
all right then.
We're not in Vegas yet, okay? Let's
so yeah, these are great. I probably, is it hard these days to know? Like, I feel like if you go to the Kindle store or you go to a bookstore even, it's pretty obvious what the hot sellers are or what your genres are. Regular book reading is kind of an easy access kind of deal in our modern era. But if I walk into a bookstore or even go to Amazon or something, I don't know what to even look for when it comes to poetry. I don't even know where to start. Like, it doesn't feel like they may even have a section at Barnes and Noble, but I don't know where to go over there and what to browse and who to talk to or, any of that stuff. So how do you suggest finding new and good poetry?
Well, okay. Ask me for starters, but also, and I mean, a lot of times, Brian might be a good source because, like I say, a lot of times singer-songwriters, they'll come up with lyrics first, but then they never quite get a melody down, but they still write the thing down, which is kind of how Legitimate Gripes came about. And Jim Infantino also used to do like what he called napkin poetry. Like he'd do these live sets where it was just like improv, and he would write poems on the spot on people's cocktail napkins.
Oh, that would be so cool to have something like that,
Really, really cool.
Yeah.
I found out about Dessa from going on the Joko cruise. She was one of their artists there. And then some of these I just kind of found out about, like Chuck knows about Vance Gilbert because he's one of his favorite artists. He's also from New England, which is where Chuck is from Connecticut. So he knew of that. And then you guys may have heard of Taylor Mali before. If you haven't, you should go and look up his poem called What Teachers Make.
Taylor Mali is the name?
Taylor Mali.
I'm writing it down. All right.
And like Mali, What Teachers Make. It's really, really good. And it's kind of it's a bit of a rant from a former English teacher turned poet, but it's really good. Oh, my son is freaking out right now because that's his favorite poem ever.
Really?
He loves it. So he's like, you mentioned my favorite poem.
Oh, that's great.
I'm looking through the Amazon store, and I'm trying to figure out if Henry Rollins ever did, because he does a lot of spoken word stuff. Henry Rollins, punk artist, incredible spoken word
Yeah.
artist as well. And I'm wondering if he's ever done any actual poetry stuff or if it's all just been
you could even see
commentary.
You could see that guy getting up on a small stage
easily,
and like doing that.
Easily, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Probably
sure.
has. Probably has, and we just don't know about it yet. Somebody out there go find some Henry Rollins.
Some Henry Rollins poetry,
Yeah.
for sure.
Poetry. I'll be on the lookout for that. If I come across it, I will post it for sure. But yeah, so
For sure.
go and as I say, I will put up the full list of all the ones that I listed today, and then also some other ones possibly.
In our DMs and Discord, send me one that I can put on quicktms.li as kind of like if you only buy one thing of poetry, one audiobook of poetry, it should be this one.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I love that.
TMS.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll send you the link to Tits on the Moon then. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There's something for everyone, and turns out Tits on the Moon is
turns out, yes, because boy, Google searches, it's really returning some unusual stuff.
Yeah, don't search for it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Saving this one for later.
Yeah,
well, they say
stash.
if you're gonna come out and do spoken word or poetry, you got to get the audience on your side. There's nothing like talking, saying my tits would be fantastic there.
It's a great start.
Yep. Yeah. Imagine. See, I always think about how would it be, because we humans are uniquely set up and have evolved here based on Earth gravity, Earth's conditions, Earth's everything. You go over to like Jupiter, that's called tits on the ground over there. Because you just because there's so much gravity.
That's not a place that your boobies want.
No. You'll be you could be 20, but you look like my grandma. You got to tuck them in now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're like concave at that point.
Yeah, nobody wants that. But I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. May when you get there, may you get showered with questions about your favorite books. While we're at the event.
I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. I'm still like deep in preparations, but things are working out.
Do you are you bringing stuff I'm stuffing in bags? I can't remember. Are you doing that this year? You are. Okay.
Oh, for swag bags, you mean?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
If you are, it's totally fine.
What do you think? What do you think? We can.
You totally can if you want to. It's up to you because we're doing the major assembly of these there. So if you've got like a bag of stuff and you want us to do it as part of the little assembly in there, we can totally do it. So
yeah, let's do that.
Just let me know.
That sounds good.
All right. That sounds great.
And I'll be glad. Tell Kim I'll be glad to hang out with her and stuff bags full of stuff or whatever.
Oh heck yeah, she'll probably love the help. Hopefully I'll be of some help, but you never know with me. Amy, it's a pleasure as always to have you here, and can't wait to see you next week. Tell Chuck the same. Okay.
I will.
We're really mean it. We really mean it when we say we're excited to see Chuck. We really, really mean it.
I know.
Don't we, Brian? We totally mean it.
I am very aware. I'm just a vehicle for Chuck, really.
Sure. Well, may your flight be safe.
No, a bicycle is a vehicle for Chuck.
That's true.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
If you end up on a plane with Marjorie Taylor Greene, you have my permission to throw your pretzels at her. All right? All right. We'll see you later. She must hate having her as a state. I guess she's not a state rep. What is she? She's a
senator, right?
No, she is Congress.
She's not anymore. Congress, yeah.
Yeah, she was never senator.
Representative? Right.
Yeah, and I think she just got some small rural deal.
Oh, that's right. No, it's Bobrit that we have to call locally our gun Barbie.
Yeah,
whatever.
gun Barbie. Yeah, you guys get the real raw end of the stick over there with her.
We really did.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Why did that music play? I don't know. Still getting used to these new tools. Let's take ourselves right straight into the world of the podcast morning news. All right, and here's how that starts.
Good morning, everybody. In the news this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the news. It's brought to you by
Coverville today, because I've got the MS 150 coming up, and it's time for me to start pushing it and getting some donations for MS. It's going to be an episode all about bicycles and other things with wheels. So look for songs about bicycles, cycling, punctured bicycles when you don't have a thing to wear. You can probably figure out what song I'm talking about there. And motorcycles even. All this coming up at 1 p.m. today, twitch.tv/Coverville.
Nice. Live Coverville. Never hurt anyone,
Never hurt anyone. And you can watch me play some Snap
Yeah. How's that going? Isn't there a big update or something big going on? What
Yeah,
happened?
they just had an update and they leveled out a couple of the cards that were breaking the meta. Shuri and Thanos were over dominating in battles because like if you had one of those you could just wreck people, and they nerfed both of those, and I think it's a little bit more, I don't know, a little more even now.
Yeah. A little more down the middle, like we like it.
A little more down the middle. I've got a deck that I'm enjoying playing right now that is, well, I won't say because I think Amy wants to play against me, so I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want her to.
Oh yeah, don't give her an advantage. Yeah.
I'm not going to give her any ideas.
No. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but during the show, my replacement headphones showed up, so I very slyly
you swapped
changed
You're not
them.
wearing the the HyperX ones that you had on a second
I
ago.
had these on before, and these are fine, but they're kind of my gaming headphones, and they're kind of muffly for audio talking. So
Sure.
I ordered these Sonys, and they just got here. So while we had Amy on, I switched over. That's pretty fun.
Didn't
isn't
even
it?
notice, man.
I know.
I was looking at Tits on the Moon, Scott, is the problem. That was what I was busy doing.
Yeah, well, I can't blame you. Let's get into the news here today. We got a black bear in the news. This is the actual animal, not people from Idaho. I know I always make that joke. I have friends in Idaho that are big gay bears, and I love them, and they know it. All right,
Why Idaho? I mean, it's just
they just have a big community up there. They got a big
furry
community.
gay man. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I think they're just. I mean, I don't know that they have like conventions or anything, but my friend Scott, who lives up there, who calls himself a bear, says the reason he moved to Idaho was because it was this big, vibrant community of gay bears. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I'd love to come up there sometime and just meet some of your friends. And he never wrote me back, so I don't know how I'm supposed to take that. You know?
Okay, well, fair enough.
Maybe he thought I was up to something. I don't know.
Huh.
Anyway, this black bear has nothing to do with that. He broke into a vehicle and guzzled 69 cans of soda.
Nice.
So look for Caffeinated Bear coming to theaters this fall. Let's see. A woman on British Columbia's Sunshine Coast awoke to a sticky situation last Thursday when she found a bear with a sweet tooth had broken into her car and crushed dozens of cans of soda where she had left them overnight. Sharon Rosal said when she was awakened by her dog at 3 a.m. on Thursday, looked outside to see a black bear surrounded by shattered glass from her car window. Damn, dude. And he was drinking massive amounts of soda, says Rosal.
I want to know what the soda was. Was it Jolt? Was it Coke Zero? What was it?
What do you think a bear is like? She says it's cola and root beer.
Oh, all right.
All right. And some soda, diet soda. Only stopped when it reached the diet soda. That's funny. That's great.
Oh yeah, started with orange soda, cola root beer, and only stopped when it reached diet.
This stuff sucks. Gross. It says she watched from her balcony for an hour and a half as the bear used its teeth to break open the cans and then slurp their contents while making a sweet mess of her car's interior. I'll bet.
Sweet mess.
Yeah. This is pretty funny, though. You start with orange.
Yeah.
You move to cola. This sounds like it's like the gateway drug is the orange soda. Then you go through the colas. Then you got the root beer. And then you stop when you get to diet because you're like, ugh, the aftertaste, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, I don't want kidney disease from the NutraSweet.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in a weird place where I'll only drink zero and diet only if I have to, but zero usually is my choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where I can't tell the difference. I don't actually know for sure. Like, so if I go to a restaurant and they do a fountain version,
sure,
I oftentimes will taste it and go, I don't know. Is this
regular Coke? Is this zero? Yeah.
And so I'll make Kim try it. She's like, oh, definitely diet or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, I'm good. But it's weird. My tastes have just evolved to not care about that aftertaste. Doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. Huh.
It's actually true of a lot of stuff, like the chocolates that Choco Mama makes for us.
Mm-hmm. Because you get the sugar-free ones.
Yeah, and they used to taste weird to me. Now they're chocolate to me.
I don't even know if I've had sugar-free chocolate. I bet I'd notice it. Obviously, since I'm just used to regular chocolate.
I'll bet you'd notice it.
Since I'm disciplined and can limit myself to one piece a day.
You and your little bowls that you'll bring to the thing, and then you'll fill just enough, so it's a perfect portion. I don't know how you live. I don't know how you do it.
Look at that right there. See, look at that right there.
Yeah, let's take a look. Oh, see, look. See, what are those, by the way?
Those are almond butter-filled pretzels.
Oh, my Lord. That sounds good.
They are really good.
I've had the peanut butter ones, but almond butter?
Almond butter. A little less sweet. and balances out with the saltiness of the pretzel. And the fact that I've got half a bowl sitting here and have had it sitting here since yesterday afternoon and all morning without refilling it is testament to my
your restraint.
Self-discipline.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's going against the testament to my self-discipline is the this giant gut that I have underneath me. That's the for whatever reason that might prove the rule. This one proves the ancillary.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, good luck with your pretzels. I will eat them if I see them.
They're making me thirsty.
They really would make me thirsty, and I'm very hungry now. All right, a man has been found dead. Okay, so this is a story about a dead man. Just warning everybody.
Oh
no. He was eaten by bed bugs.
Eaten by bed bugs?
Uh-huh. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
It sounds unbelievable, but that's what this says. Let's find out more. This is while he was
bed bugs. I'd 100% believe.
Yeah, bitten makes sense. He's in an Atlanta jail. Speaking of Red Fraggle's hometown.
Sure.
An Atlanta man died in a jail after being eaten alive by bed bugs, alleges his lawyer, representing the man's family. The family of LaShawn Thompson, age 35, is calling for a criminal investigation into Thompson's death for the closure and replacement of a local jail after alleging that Thompson died in custody from bed bugs in a squalid jail cell. It says here they had placed him in the facility psychiatric unit after determining he had some mental health issues, but notes he was otherwise physically healthy before going in there. Their claim is that on the 13th of September 2022, 3 months after being arrested, he was discovered dead inside his dilapidated cell, covered in grime and insects. The cell was so filthy that the employees wore a hazmat suit upon entering, according to the Washington Post. They left him there essentially, they said. Let's see. Then they had a plan to take him to the medical observation unit, but their plan never happened, and they found him dead, eaten by these bed bugs.
God.
Ugh.
Yeah, one of my clients that I do freelance work for regularly is a bed bug exterminator here in Denver, and so I have folders of photos of what bed bugs look like, and what they're different. There's like 6 different stages that they go through. And,
really? What is the first stage, so I know what to recognize? Would I be able
little
to?
eggs, little tiny eggs is the first stage. So
that's wild.
Yeah. Well, we're being visited by a kitty cat. Hey, Inara, how you doing?
Well, she heard about bugs.
Bed bugs, yum. Yeah. But the only way to really treat them is with heat extermination. So basically, you have to get all of the vinyl albums, photographs, paper products, and stuff out of your house, and then they get some machines in there that crank the heat up to like 135 or 140 degrees or something.
Oh my gosh.
And it just kills them instantly, gets rid of them. Because if you use like sprays, insecticides, stuff like that, the bastards come back.
I don't know that I've ever seen them, so I wouldn't even know what I was looking at. But
yeah.
In this case,
send you a photo. Would you like a photo? I'll send you a photo.
Send me one of your gross photos. I'll put it up on the screen today.
Here, I'll just send you a link to the website, because the very first thing you see, actually we have 2. I'll send you the link to hotbugs.com. Yes, I'm serious. That is one of the sites.
Awesome. Hotbugs.com.
Hotbugs.com with Z even.
Whoa. This is
this is really cool. He does like a membership service for people who own VRBOs and Airbnbs and assisted living facilities and stuff like that. And so that bug in the background there, I guess it disappears with the logo in front of it. Shoot.
Did you give here, let's see.
I put it in our Discord.
Oh, chat. Discord, there it is. Okay. Let me pull it up here. Take a look, chat room. Oops, let's put it right there. Go away.
Shoot. Yeah, I need to send you a different photo, because that thing.
For $80 a year, emergency priority services, free video inspection services, access to leading bug experts, compliance documentation. Man, this is quite a deal.
It is a deal. It's a deal.
It's a deal. And you made this for them, eh? This is the site Brian made.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Well, hot bugs gross me out. It's gross. Let me ask you this though. So like if you I'm trying to, like a hotel room, it makes sense. You have a pretty limited number of things that are made of paper.
Right.
Or something's going to buckle or burn or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So easy place to fumigate and get done. Like a house. Like I'd have to. Oh my gosh, the stuff
you got to get all of your files have to come out, your albums, your photographs, things like that. Yeah.
And there's really no better way. Like this is as good as we have. There's no like infrared.
As good as this is as close to 100% effectiveness as you're going to get.
All right.
Yeah. So don't get bed bugs, people. Just don't get bed bugs.
It's got some Dale Gribble vibes.
Gribble.
I don't know why I said dribble. Real quick here, they did say so he did have an autopsy, and the cause of death is noted as extreme to severe infestation of small insects on his body. So I guess if you have enough of this,
yeah, I think I would agree that he probably was partially killed by the bed bugs. They didn't. I mean, I don't know. Eaten by bed bugs in the headline makes it sound like all that's left are his bones.
Yeah, yeah. Which I don't think happened.
Voracious group of piranhas or something. But,
yeah, how much could a bed bug eat, really? They're going to eat, like, I'm going to find out they eat like 20 times their body weight or something. And
right, exactly.
I knew. Anyway, The bottom line is try not to have bed bugs if you can help it.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably the best solution.
How do they start? Is it just because things are dirty? Is it?
They start because you get them from somewhere else. Like
I didn't know that.
Go to a really horrible hotel room or motel or something like that, and then you just bring them back to your house. So
awful.
It is, yeah.
My gosh,
it's a big worry. Like not a big worry, but there's a little bit of a worry with us here because Tina will, with Adult Protective Services, she's frequently having to visit people who don't practice a lot of self-care.
Yeah,
and so we actually have the equivalent of an airlock in our garage where she can, get rid of the shoes she was wearing, not get rid of, but like put the shoes she was wearing into a thing, and we can hair dry heat them and stuff like that if we need to kill them. And, she doesn't sit down on anything when she's in any of these places. Like basically her feet touching her shoes touching the floor are the only way that she goes into these places.
Well, I had a friend who worked for one of these cleanup places that you call and they come and, like, if there was a death and they were there for 3 weeks, they come and take care of stuff. Has Tina ever had to go to a site of like, this guy died in his chair and he's been there for a month, and none of that?
No, fortunately, as far as I know, she hasn't. And maybe there's a story that she hasn't told me, but I think she would tell me if she...
That'd be a rough job.
There was a story of a person that she had to help who basically stayed by his wife's side and slept in the same bed with her after she passed.
She had passed?
Yeah. But,
man, can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the night where you wake up and find out that the other one died.
I know. I might be getting the story wrong, but something like that. And it was just heartbreaking.
That is heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah. Anyway,
I'm gonna have Kim taxidermied. Just,
you're gonna put her behind the wheel of a driverless car and basically just have her just still drive you wherever you need it.
Well, that way I get I still get the benefits of the carpool lane, and I can fall asleep 20 minutes into a ride. It's all good in the hood.
I love the chat room responses after you say something like that.
I know. What do you guys expect? You've been here long enough.
Come on.
Stupid shit's going to fall out of my face.
Come on now.
Yeah, hello. All right, we got one more story here about an Alberta woman. Alberta. Oh, that's Canada.
Canada!
It is.
The woman deliberately trying to get rid of 133,000 rum and butter chocolate bars. So, hey, if you're all into that, I got good news. There's a place for
rum and butter chocolate bars.
Rum and butter. Speaking of sugar, geez. Anyway, a few years ago, you couldn't buy rum and butter chocolate bars if you wanted to, but now Crystal Regner Westergaard has 133,000 of them, give or take a few, she says. Okay. The entrepreneur resurrected the old-fashioned candy in 2021, but thanks to pandemic production delays, she now has to get rid of several pallets worth of these before they expire in June. Says she's ready to eat the cost and let somebody else eat the candy, but she'd rather not spend more money just to let them go to waste. So, if you want to get a hold of her, I don't know how you'd do it, but
it's going to be really hard because she's covered with butter.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard to get a hold of her.
I always wonder about this. There's certain things that were being made up and until the pandemic that just basically crapped out for a bit, and then there was a shortage of everything, and now there's for a lot of companies there's a glut of things, and I don't know what you do when you have that. Like in her case, it's a very physical thing, but I know there are people with like a lot of these layoffs at Netflix and at Disney Plus and all this were all about, because things getting back to normal, people are signing up less to the services because they're not trapped indoors and have no other option but to watch entertainment. So I wonder who else that affects. It didn't really affect businesses like ours, like we're still making content and all that. But anyway, if you're a listener out there and you were like affected in that way, I'd just be curious to hear your story.
Yeah.
How things went.
I'm actually curious more about the rum and butter chocolate bar. This is not something, even, they say, well, a few years ago you couldn't buy these. I've never heard of these things ever. And it looks like it's a very Canadian thing. Like even it's Cadbury's, and even on the label of the new version, it says Canadian candy nostalgia.
Oh, wow.
Rum and butter. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, Jeff will probably write in and say, "Oh, I was raised on this stuff" or something.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, if you can find one, bring it to
Vegas.
Give us Vegas.
Yeah, we try it. This says, oh no, that's a different story. Never mind. I thought that was part of this. It's not. Okay. Final story. Vending machine in remote Japan sells meat from intruding bears.
Oh, terrific. More bear. We begin with the bears, we end with the bears.
And we end with the bears. That's right. This is a bear sandwich. Check this out. A remote Japanese town is taken to selling bear meat from a vending machine, sourcing its supply to Asian black bears, listed as vulnerable species, caught in traps or in the mountains by hunters. Bear attacks are an increasing problem in parts of rural Japan due to shortage of food in the forest that brings the animals closer to inhabited areas. Quote, the bears can be dangerous when they come into town, so hunters will set traps or shoot them, says Daishi Sato, who placed the vending machine outside his soba noodle shop near the railway station. Asian black bears are listed as vulnerable, but not critically so it is legal to eat bear in Japan. Meat from trapped bears is tastier since the blood is drained immediately, according to him. What? Why is it drained immediately? What? Hold on.
I know,
meat from trapped bear. Is it because the bear is bleeding from the trap?
I guess caught in traps, yeah. So
I don't get that.
So they just get caught in the trap and bleed out, and it's like, oh, perfect. Let's turn this. And it doesn't even say, like, is it jerky or is it just like
meat?
Vacuum sealed meat chunks, bear meat chunks.
Yeah, they don't actually. Let's see. There's a quote. Okay, bear meat isn't very common, so we want tourists to come visit our town to buy it. That doesn't tell me. It doesn't say what form it's in.
No.
I would think dried and cured or something.
I would think jerky as well. Yeah. So maybe it dries quicker because of the blood removal. God.
Let's see.
This is just foul.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of gross.
And not because of the bear meat. I mean, I would try bear jerky for sure, but just that whole it's really tasty because the blood drains immediately from their bodies.
That's right.
Taste
That's so good. Yum, 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 yum. Vending machines throughout Japan offer everything from drinks, snacks, surgical masks, and more exotic fare such as insects and whale meat. So this isn't that unusual, I guess. We don't do this here. We should have more weird stuff in vending machines in America.
I agree. Yeah.
Vegas does some of that, but I want a
little bit. Yeah, you can get Moët Chandon champagne and vending machine. As a matter of fact, I think the Sand Dollar even has a champagne vending machine.
Right. And isn't that car dealership there that has the multi-story car thing? You buy a car at the bottom.
Carvana. We even have them here, and we have one in Denver as well.
No, I don't think we had. I don't think we have one here. Maybe
it's called Carvana.
And what do you do there? You don't gamble on which car you're getting, right? It's not like a slot machine.
No, I don't know how the whole thing works as far as like being able to finance it. Like, do you do it all online before you go, and then you just show up there and say, "I'd like E7," and it just it lowers down to what you need. But
no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is a weird thing though, because it's like this tower. Yeah. I want to see it actually operating when somebody gets a car out of the Carvana machine.
I've never seen that. I wonder if we could catch that just by being near there or something.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Okay, I found some packaged meat. This is what it looks like. I'll put it in Discord.
Okay. All right.
This is what it looks like.
It's not going to be as good looking as that rum and butter chocolate bar.
No, it will not. That is a beautiful looking thing right there.
Good. Oh, so really you're getting raw bear meat.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. This isn't like a typical vending machine where it's pops out of the machine, open the package, start nom nom nomming. This is like, all right, well now you got to take it home and cook it.
I think so.
That's somebody else's bear meat.
And that does look frozen, I think.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that chill packet behind it. So interesting.
That makes sense, I guess, because the weird stuff they put in their vending machines, probably a lot of it needs refrigeration. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Here's that butter bar. Look at that thing Brian put up. Oh, you guys.
Isn't that gorgeous?
I want to eat that.
It looks really flat, like a, not Rolo. What are the similar to Rolo? Like it's just chocolate with a caramel filling.
Yeah,
but in this case, it's rum and butter filling. But mellow,
called?
Caramello.
Caramello. That's
so
it.
like a caramello that got run over by a car. Is
Yeah.
what that looks like. By a Carvana car. Wow. It all comes back.
It all comes back. Bears, cars. Look at us. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister will be here. We have an audio version of an email we got, and we're going to do that today. So stick around. Brian, we need a break song, though. Do you have a little something we could do?
A little break song. I got a little break song, Scott.
Okay.
This one, big thanks to, let's see, RK Record Kicks, or I guess Record Kicks and Pavement Public Relations. The soul funk quartet, the Sextones, have a brand new studio album that's going to be coming out much later this year. My gosh, much later this year, September.
Wow.
But this is the first single from that album, and it's awesome. So if you like Monophonics, Kelly Finnegan, Duran Jones and the Indications, and These Sacred Souls, you'll like this. From the album Love Can't Be Borrowed, here is the first single, Better Late Than Never.
There's a special opening just in front of the place where you have your BM.
God damn it.
The Morning Stream. I've only got one gun, that's 6 bullets. There's 6, that's 36. Maybe that's they've got 2 guns, that's 72 bullets. Maybe they've got rifles.
You never know where that guy's going.
Holy cow.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, tell me again where I can get that music there.
Sure. From the upcoming album Love Can't Be Borrowed, those are the Sextones. Feels like we've had quite the theme on today's show, especially with that dating audio clip about the special opening. Anyway, that's the song Better Late Than Never.
Yeah, that sounds great. I haven't heard this song yet. Or you know what? I should lie to the people at home. Boy, I've heard that song. It's really good.
Yeah. Isn't that great that we just heard? Oh, we can't believe we just finished hearing. What a great song that was.
I do feel confident that I'm going to like it, though. I do feel confident.
Yeah.
Because Brian rarely brings a song I don't like. I can't think of one where
I try to bring the best milkshakes to the yard.
Yeah. And you're like they're better than yours or something.
Exactly.
Wendi is on her way, I believe, here. Let's see. Yep, we're adding her to the call, and we're going to get started with this week's Therapy Thursday, if indeed I can find the place to push the button. Okay, here we go. All right, we're ringing.
Wendi.
I mean, random.
Not a chance.
Hey, look who it is. It's my sister Wendi. She is all the way over there in Minnesota. Correction.
Minnesota.
By the way, yesterday I'd said, or I'd attributed to, what's his name, senatorship for Massachusetts, and it's not. It was Minnesota. The SNL
Al
guy.
Franken?
Al Franken. Yeah. Everybody, I got 50 emails going, it was Minnesota, not Massachusetts. It was just a slip of the tongue.
Hey, Scott, when I lived in Europe, which country did I live in?
You lived in the United Kingdom. Is where you were.
Okay. There was another country.
I was thinking Sweden.
Sweden.
Was the answer.
Sorry, I thought you meant before that. Yes, Sweden.
Yeah. You're supposed to say Switzerland. Remember you got that wrong?
I used to do that wrong. Yeah.
People say Switzerland.
Massachusetts, Minnesota. I get it. It's hard.
It's hard. It's hard to remember these things.
Sure.
Hey, speaking of Sweden, I saw the weirdest. There are some. You know who some of the weirdest filmmakers are? They're all in Sweden.
Swedes.
Yeah.
Did you see Triangle of Sadness?
Not yet. Is that Brian did? You liked it, right?
I did,
word,
and
Brian.
wow, what a great 3 movies that was.
It was 3 movies, and I literally had to close my eyes because I was getting so nauseous.
I'm guessing
what
from
part
that
I'm talking
middle,
about.
that middle scene,
The middle movie.
Yeah.
Middle movie.
The middle film. I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, you should see it. What did you see, Scott?
I don't remember the name of the thing.
The Square?
No.
Oh.
It was one of those. What did I see recently from I don't remember, but I remember being very off-put by it.
That movie where the guys decide that their brain power works better if they just stay in an inebriated state throughout the day. It's got Mads Mikkelsen in it.
That had a lot of buzz.
It did. It got something for an Oscar nomination. I think Best Original Screenplay, maybe. But I think that's also Swedish, and that was great.
I avoid anything by that.
A friend of a friend. Sorry,
Yeah.
a friend of a friend is a has a PhD in Swedish film, and you're like, that's not real. And when you watch a couple Swedish films, you're like, oh no, you could have a PhD in this. Because there's some breadth and depth that are terrifying.
Yeah.
It's the guy who did the Human Centipede. I don't know his name.
Oh, geez.
Think he's from over there? I think that's right.
I don't know. I've stayed away from those movies.
You're right to do it. You're right to do it.
Only good version. Tosh 2.0's description of it was plenty.
The best thing to come out of that was the South Park episode.
Oh, the South Park.
Yeah.
Oh no, cuttlefish!
I should not have had the cuttlefish. It was so good. Anyway, well, forget about all that. We got an email from Wendi, who is a real therapist. She helps people all the time with their problems, and she comes here and does it for free for you, chuckleheads. And she'll be in Vegas next week. Which will be great because a lot of these people have never met Wendi firsthand, and now they're going to get to. Oh. So that's exciting.
Yay!
Yeah. Plus, you got a bunch of your Real Steps regulars and all that. That's
yes, and Amy and I are going to put together a little gathering. I hope during some moment.
Oh, very nice! I'd love to hear that. That's great.
A little free therapy for our tadpoolers, or as we like to call it, how was your entire day with Claire?
Yeah. How'd your Claire day go? That's right. You haven't met Claire yet. Claire loves you.
I'm excited to meet Claire.
Yeah. When the Thursdays happen where you're not here or we don't have a thing, she gets like visibly upset in our chat room about you not being here. Yeah.
Aww.
It's not like stalkery or anything, but she likes you a lot.
No. Yeah.
She just likes you a lot.
Misses us. Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's all coming up. But for today, I got this here email that I'm going to present to you in the form of the spoken word. All right. So here it is. This is today's Therapy Thursday question.
How do I know if my therapist just kind of sucks? I've been having sessions with this guy for just over 2 years now. At first we used video calls, but I found it's easier for me to stay focused just on the phone. Partially because he's so damn quiet that the video calls felt super awkward to me at times, just staring at each other. When I stop talking, he will often stay completely silent, even for literal minutes at a time, which feels like ages in the moment. I know he's paying attention and that he's not even muting himself during those silences. And sometimes it's okay to have that time to reflect or be forced to pause and really hear my inner monologue. He's never given me homework or things to reflect on for our next session. If I don't have specific topics to discuss, he will almost never help get things going. He's never once done any exercises or asked me to talk to my foot. When I contrast his personality to yours, Wendi, it is hard to imagine you're even in the same profession. Do I just need to find someone new? I can say that our talks have helped me from time to time, and when he does provide me insight, it feels valuable, but it is few and far between. It took me 6+ months to find someone that was accepting new patients, start of the pandemic, and I really don't want to go through that again. But I can't help but feel I'm not getting what I could out of my time and money. I had to go out of network to even find someone. Love the show, though. Schwag P.S. I think he's a Jungian, if that means anything.
Does that mean anything?
Was that AI that read that?
Yes.
Yeah. That was really good AI reading. Wow. Holy cow. Even like the intonations and asides and parentheses.
Like when he said Wendi, that was freaky.
Yeah. When I contrast his personality to yours, Wendi, it's really hard to imagine you're even the same profession.
Yeah, no, this it is freaky, and you have this slider on this thing that can make it more conversational like that or less. So you can have it be more like an audiobook straight read, or you can have him be he'll even do goofs. Like I didn't do it in this one, but he can have sometimes where he'll mispronounce a word and then correct himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Scott, you mean he'll do a Scott?
He'll do a Scott, yeah. He'll do a Scott. Anyway, that was interesting.
That was creepy.
So that's actually from a real person, of course. What is a Jungian? I don't know what that means.
Oh, yes, Jungian psychology.
Carl Jung, is that right?
Yeah, very good. All right, what Brian, do you know much about it?
No, I know that wasn't he the basis of like the synchronicity, like the Police album Synchronicity is influenced or was a homage to Jungian stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know your stuff.
Well, very good. All right.
That's my only connection, because of course it is.
Yeah.
Because that's great. That's a great connection. Yeah. He is a Swiss psychiatrist. He think of like the answer to Freud. You know, you can't just have like one god of the beginning of things. So his stuff was, kind of tilted the world on its head a little bit. And so, they were influencing each other. And he was younger than Freud. And so, but it had a big impact on him and some of the work he's done. So anyway, a big piece of that is just like a different way of looking at things. By the way, we've renamed our 3 sons, Super Ego, Ego, and Id, because that's exactly how they operate. One is so worried about everyone else. The other one is full of himself. And then the other one is just whatever is fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Freud's work of just people are operating on these impulses and these sort of innate, instinctual, the drive for sex and survival and, your mother or whatever his stuff is, right? So it's all the things. And that, was kind of the main way of thinking about a lot of the mental world. And then Jung came along and has a very different view of the self.
Sure.
And it's a little nicer, right? It's a little less. Yeah. People are terrible.
A little less extreme.
Anyway.
Did you expect that, by the way, the Freudian makeup of your children? Or is it just, it's a kind of a deep irony that you're in this business, in this industry, this practice, and your kids are like these perfect versions of those 3?
Yeah, they are.
Is that
no?
Yeah. Did you?
I mean, I guess I didn't think and I didn't even come up with it. Just Adam said it the other day. He's like, "Yeah, it's Super Ego, and Id," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're right."
That is great. I do love that.
Yeah, and they're all gonna be fine.
Yeah,
that's how we have to talk about it.
Sure.
No, I think too. You've got this sort of like Freud is. Think of it as, I don't know, you guys probably have a video game version of this. Pong. Freud is Pong.
Okay.
Right? Like it's the beginning.
All right.
And the systematizing. Obviously, there were folks before him doing work and people, trying to drill holes in heads to try to stop stuff from happening or whatever. But, he really is foundational in the teaching of it and the practice of psychiatry and clinical work. And, so that's why he's so famous, right? And he said some stuff that it's easy to quote and think about, right? And so ever since, people have been branching off and doing different things. So Jung is great. He talks a lot about, and this might be in that song, Brian, I don't know, but about the shadow. And we've talked about that on the show before. Do you guys remember that? The shadow self, kind of the idea that...
Yeah.
It does talk about it. In Synchronicity too. They talk about the shadow on the door of a cottage by a Scottish lock.
Yeah.
And it's in reference to the shadow self. Yeah. Interesting.
So they are Jungian fans for sure.
Sting is Jung.
Yeah.
Totally.
But the Jung thing doesn't necessarily mean dude on other line staring at you for a minute without saying anything. Like this isn't part of that.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that in a second. Okay. So kind of this idea that you can. Well, okay. So there's a couple factors, things you want out of Jungian psychotherapy, and that is this. There's a concept called the active imagination. This thing you guys all have and I don't have. Remember, you all active imaginations, and the idea is using imagination, fantasy, dreams, meditation, a lot of dream work specifically in Jungian stuff, and that is what will bring the unconscious into the present. Right. So Freud had a lot of like the unconscious drives everything. And think of this as like taking that kind of idea and allowing space and in this client's case, quiet for some of this stuff to emerge, for the unconscious to emerge. Right. So that is, sometimes it's direct observation of something they think about or they dream, and sometimes it's not intended kind of thing. And then the other piece of this is, and then the belief is there's a collective unconscious. That's maybe early days of talking about that, at least in Western thought. Anyway, the other thing being individuation. It's this process or this goal that people will progress and that they'll, sort of learn how to stop self-sabotaging and, manage conflict and do some different things as they become more individuated, allowed to be their unique self, that kind of thing. So there's a couple more things to this, but, and really just the idea of the shadow real quick, because I brought that up, is kind of this idea that you've got things in your unconscious or you're not fully aware of that are sort of the dark parts of things, and you are ashamed of them or hide them. And there's some really strong mental influences to keep that out of your purview. So I always picture it as like dragging a stinky black garbage bag behind you. You can't see it. You're not fully aware of it, but it's, got the cartoon stinky smoke things coming out.
Stink lines.
Yeah, full of stuff. And it comes out sideways in your life, right? Yeah. So we talk about hypocrisy sometimes of like someone says this thing, they're writing anti-LGBTQ legislation and then they're caught, whatever.
No, it happens all the time lately, especially.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So shadow work, and as you'll hear that term used a lot, is really working on bringing some of that stuff to your consciousness, being able to integrate that into you're a whole person, not just, I'm a good or bad, kind of reorganizing some of that. And then it has less ability to be coming out sideways. Sometimes it's, so bringing you more into a state of health rather than bifurcated into these distinct parts. Anyway, so there's lots of things they do in order to do that. Now, what sounds like is happening with this guy. So first of all, let me say something to be clear. If this guy is actually a Jungian analyst, he has extensive training. This is not someone who's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say I'm Jungian and I'm going to be quiet.
It's just, that's something you just do on a whim. Okay.
No, this is a big deal. Now, if he just says he's Jungian, people can say like that's an influence, but someone who is an actual Jungian analyst goes through their own analysis, which takes a long time. And psychoanalysis also takes a long time. This is like year upon year processes. And a lot of people get a lot of benefits from this. And that space in the quiet and sitting with someone and letting them do some of that work, there is value to that. I just don't know if it fits everyone. Like clearly it probably doesn't. I should try it to see if I would like it, but I kind of think I'd hate it. I don't know, but it's just there's a variety of kinds of therapy that people do. And that is one, and this is not one that's a joke, right? It really is very trained, very extensive, and there's purpose to it. And why he's not leading him in anything is part of the point. So that is where the belief is that, that full individuation and integration and stuff happens. Not the therapist gets to dictate what you do over the next week to try to improve. Because that would be inserting the therapist in the role of I'm in charge or I'm the one who knows what you need and that sort of thing.
Right.
Whereas a lot of us, and probably just popular culture too, is just like my therapist told me this, and we see it as a guide or a coach or someone who's like going to point out some things, but is also really good at listening. So I think we have a different view of that than we do of maybe the original psychoanalysis type stuff that you have with Freud and Jungian based stuff.
Okay.
So it's just a different stroke.
Just a different method. So let me ask you this though, like this sounds impossible. I don't know how a therapist can sit there and just like not say anything.
Just watch basically.
Yeah, how do you do that? That seems crazy because that's like I understand if you're observing a monkey in a cage or something, right? But if you're talking to another human being, I would have to fill that air. I can't.
Yeah. And and basically is it like one method that applies to everything, or it's like, okay, they've got this situation going on, I need to sit back and let them work through it themselves and not interrupt and let them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's not applied across the board to every problem that they have or every problem that somebody could have.
So for example, it's applicable to lots of different things, but if you are like actively suicidal, this is not going to be helpful.
Yeah. Better speak up. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they may argue, someone who does this may argue, no, it's exactly what somebody needs who's actively suicidal. I don't know. Exactly.
Doc, I feel like nobody ever listens to me and that I'm invisible and that I don't ever get any response. Can you help me out?
Right.
Hello? Are you there?
Right. And so for example, like, a certain kind of like they've studied this, right? They've looked to see, and we've got lots of examples of like it is really helpful with certain things. And so let me see if I found a list. Also, like children's therapy, play therapy is basically Jungian. So you may have heard of sand tray therapy before.
No, that's new to me. I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's so cool.
Fun. Do you say sand
it is
tray?
Really fun.
Is that right?
A big sand tray. Okay. Yeah. So it's usually up on something. So they're standing and the therapist is with them and there's a room full of toys on the wall, just every little thing you can imagine of every kind of thing. And the the therapist does not direct the child to do anything. The child comes in, sees the toys, picks the toys. All of the toys have, they're pretty loaded in terms of there's a catapult and there's a, there's, and then in the tray, they build whatever scene they're going to build. And so I've done a little sand tray therapy back when I used to work with kids. And then I've observed quite a bit, and it's just fascinating as kids are working through some of their, so I worked a lot with kids with grief and sort of traumatic attachment stuff. And they would build an entire world and be attacking this one dinosaur. And really the dinosaur represented their mom, who was unstable and on drugs and coming in and out of their life. And so they needed an army to protect them. It's like watching watching a child use their play in order to work through the stuff they're going through. And again, you've got an active therapist attention. You do not have them directing. So it can be very effective for kids. It's really great. Let's see. So some of the other stuff is just general responses to this kind of therapy can be, improvement in different ways. And so if I was going to talk to this guy, I'd say, okay, what did you go in for? And then what is, have you seen improvements and where? Just are you feeling better about different things? Do you feel like your depression has gone down? So it's used in all sorts of ways. I think there is a few places it's probably not great for, maybe schizophrenic things or, bipolar maybe. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers but I think, the efficacy is proven in a lot of different things for a lot of different ways. However, it's very cost prohibitive and time prohibitive. It's really hard to say, what you got, 5 years for me? Cool. And you can, that's a tricky thing to be asking. And so insurance has played a huge role in what is available and covered for a lot of mental health care, unfortunately. And you can understand why on one hand, right? Like, how do we pay for this for infinity? And how do we know if you're better? So we got really into efficacy and, evidence-based treatment. So that's why CBT became this kind of the end all be all for a good chunk of time there, because it was more measurable. It's homework, it's directive, it's changing people's thoughts so they feel better. And so you could measure that. They could do short, brief therapy and find it effective. So less than 12 sessions, et cetera, et cetera. So like any field, there's always innovation and people do different things. And a lot of people will mix a bunch of stuff. But it sounds like he got a Jungian therapist, an analyst who is doing exactly what they're meant to do. And so I would check first, where do you feel these improvements, if any? And if you really are not, then you probably need something else. Mm-hmm. You could also ask directly, like, hey, do you want to help me understand what I'm supposed to be experiencing? You can ask some questions, or you can, obviously Google and read about Jungian therapy specifically. If you want to try something else, that's not a bad thing either. I had a client who had a really pretty world famous clinician working with him. And he decided, he's like, this isn't what I need right now. I need to work with a woman because some of my issues are related to sort of Me Too stuff and some issues he had specifically, and he needed to kind of process that with a woman. So he moved to my practice, and as we were working through stuff, I was a different style, of course, but I'm also representing some stuff that he needed help with specifically, and that's what he said to me. But I said, well, how did you end it with your last therapist? Like, how did that go? And he said, well, the guy was like, you're not done. You're going to regret this. Yeah. And he was just like, all right, chill, but I need a woman, you're not. And so anyway, it didn't end on like the greatest note, but his therapist wasn't wrong. He was not done, but he also knew something about what he needed. By the way, he's done now. He's good because we went really deep on some things he needed about his mom, about his life. Like, it was something that other therapists couldn't provide. It just can happen. Just like a doctor can only do so much for you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the extent of the framework that the therapist is using and or their personality, you might just run into the limit of that care. And so that's okay, right?
Sure.
In fact, I always tell people, if you are not feeling it and you don't want to tell this person all the things, then you know, you might want to try something else. Give it a good college try, and then, you know, really think about, because there's no rule. You got to just keep doing a thing that you don't find helpful, right? However, I do understand the idea that it's just hard to find somebody and it's hard to switch and all of those things. Telling your whole story to someone else can be really daunting. And every therapist knows this, right? We know that is what you're worried about. And so, yeah.
So is it for a industry? I keep saying industry, for a practice, or for a whatever, for your world that you're in. I guess that's an industry. One that is usually billed hourly, right? That's the standard. It seems like techniques, even if they're superior or, I don't know, markedly better, that take longer are going to be prohibitive in that one way, right? Because until we end up with a society that really values mental health, and we start, you know, making it more affordable and or more accessible for regular people to get it or whatever. It just seems like if you said to me, hey, do you want this therapist over here that takes forever, but you might have better results in the long run? Or this one that's going to be quick every week, and you're going to have homework where that time's not being on the clock, and, you know, that sort of thing. You're probably going to go with the second, right? That seems bad, or it seems
the quick solution rather than the
expensive one. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's tricky is that nothing is a guarantee for anything, right? We can show some efficacy and we can show some improvement, but we're not following people 5 years down the road and controlling all the factors that may affect their mental health. Like, it's hard. There's a reason, you know, that I love it when people are like, I'm into hard sciences, not soft sciences. I was like, well, if you could figure out how to make a soft science as measurable as a hard science, I'd love to see you try that, right? It's just so much harder in order to manage, because people are people and they're going to go live their life, and you can't control them like you can something in a lab, right? And so it's going to vary. I think a good litmus test, I think it's maybe my bias for myself personally, is like, how am I feeling and doing, right? You can tell me all day long that this thing is going to be better for me, but it's going to take 3 years. And then this shorter, I mean, that's part of it, right? Is immediate relief is usually what matters. Now, if you have the time, the money, and the wherewithal, to pick a Jungian analyst. That sounds like a blast to figure that out. But that's also because I'm weird. And whereas most people just would want to feel better. So if you're not feeling better with the care that you're getting, you know, maybe work that through with your therapist that you're already talking to. You can talk about that. That's part of what you're experiencing, right? And then there's, like I've shared on this show before, you know, go to psychologytoday.com, put your zip code in, put your insurance in, you know, unclick the Jungian analyst filter and try a new one, right? So talking to your foot. So let's talk about the things he mentioned that are specific to what I do.
I was going to say, I think that was a reference we were talking about, like talking to your gut and talking to your foot.
Yeah. And of course, Scott, it's his foot.
It was my foot.
Anyway, yeah. So that I'm doing a public show of it. It's not like exactly what you would be doing in real life with a therapist, but this is internal family systems is one of the frameworks that I operate from, because I found it to be incredibly effective. And I use that with other things that I already do. And so there's a combination of things, and I am more directive. In fact, I have to warn everyone, like, hey, if you want the Jungian analyst, I'm not it. And now, of course, I'll listen, and of course, I will hear you and, you know, be with you. But I'm also about a little more activity based. Is my bias.
Right.
So I just own it from the outset. And 100% of people that come to me get referred from someone else who says this is active based, and they know it coming in. So I rarely have anyone say, yeah, you're making me work too hard or something.
Yeah.
I need just to chill. And because there's plenty of mix, right? There's a lot of listening and a lot of other things too. But so you may find that it's just time for you to feel like you want to be a little more actively engaged, right? Yeah. And so great, do that. So IFS is a really self-directed, cool version of active. And then, you know, CBT is way more therapist directed. And, you know, really, like, you can't be trusted with your own thoughts. So let me tell you how to change them. Right. And sometimes that is absolutely necessary. and really helpful and saves lives. So it kind of, you can kind of pick and choose what you want.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this person wants to email me, I'd be happy to talk about different types and things that what they're needing. So for example, if someone emails me and just says, hey, this is what I'm struggling with, I kind of already have a sense like, yeah, this methodology might be best for you, especially if it's acute or something else. Right. So there's all that. And it's hard. It's hard to know. And as, therapy becomes more ubiquitous and more people talk about it and it feels like stigma, you're not always fighting against stigma, then there comes the quality, right?
Right.
It matters. Mm-hmm. And there are people who have terrible experiences with therapy. And it's not typically because of the modality. It's typically because the mismatch with the person.
Right.
Or the therapist isn't.
It's a good time. It's a good reminder that they are, in the end, they're another person.
Yeah.
And they're going to have expertise and all that. So, but they may have personality quirks that just you don't mesh with. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you, I mean, you're pretty easy, but you probably run into somebody where it was just different enough where you're like, yeah, it's probably not a good match.
And I'm at this stage that my self-worth does not depend one bit on if someone wants to work with me or not. And I can say, this doesn't seem like it's quite working. Let's talk about it. And then I have an ethical obligation to refer them to someone else, right? Like I help them with that process. Most people have self-selected me already. And so I run into that a lot less because I'm not just being handed patients every day. Like if I worked in a clinic, I would just be assigned people. They might say, oh, she's very good at working with trauma. So they send traumatized patients. And that's when, all of my years of doing that, sometimes it just would not click. And then it's a waste of everyone's time. Right. Now, a Jungian analyst, it doesn't even matter if you click.
Yeah.
Because there's such an absent part of that process, but they do need to be awake and focused and listening and doing all the work that they've done. I mean, they're kind of superheroes in my mind. Like that is a hard thing to do. And they obviously see great value in it and have done it themselves. A lot of us do not do the exact same treatment we offer, whereas those guys absolutely do. Right. Yeah. So I think, sort of leading, and this is what's hard with mental health in general, especially if you're in crisis, it is self-directed seeking of care. Right. And that is hard when you are not feeling well. It's hard to get out of bed and then just be like, oh, let me make 40 phone calls and interview all these people. Right. The system's got to change in some ways. In fact, there's a couple new things out there that are interesting because, innovation and all that. So for example, Adobe is a big company there in Utah, right?
Yeah. Well, they're based in California, but they have a huge office out here. Yeah.
Right. I just know about that there specifically because of the people I know that work there have this benefit. It's called Spring Health. It's just a company that does basically like your giant company works with them. And what it means is like someone's having trouble or needs a psychiatric intervention or appointment or a therapy or something, and they just do it quick, right? They hook them right up because of course the health insurance is already connected. And, within a couple days, they have an evaluation, they have care, right? So they've figured out a way to eliminate one of our biggest hurdles to people accessing care is time and finding it themselves and seeing if it works with your insurance. I mean, we have this with the medical care too. It's just less sort of, I don't even know, was it the 80s? We were like begging health insurance to cover any of it, It's a short little history of it not being awesome. So anyway, so some innovation has come about. There's online psychiatric care and, clinical interventions, things that just didn't exist 10 years ago,
Yeah.
So we're sort of tackling some of that, which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Well, listener, if you want to email Wendi directly about some of that stuff she mentioned, yeah, you certainly can. But it sounds to me like maybe he's just, I don't know, he probably needs a change. This all sounds a little hard. I don't know if I could sit there for 3 minutes with nothing. I couldn't do it.
I know.
Yeah.
That would be
and I promise you, there are people who would fill every single second of them just talking.
Yeah.
So they will just work. They're going to be working through some things, and sometimes people just need to be listened to, right?
I think it actually would work for me, because if I do any sort of long drive, like hour plus drive, and there's nobody else in the car, I feel like I'm talking to myself the whole time. And so I think I might, you could just freeze frame a therapist on the other side of the Zoom, and I'd probably save a ton of money and work all my shit out.
I love it.
Yeah, let's just get a picture of like a really soothing looking, calm human.
Yeah.
Put it on your phone. Yeah.
And about 20 minutes in, I would start talking to my foot.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the rule. Well, that's awesome. I also learned something. I never heard of this dude before. This Noonian person, or this Jung. Sorry, Jung.
It's spelled Jung.
There you have it.
Yeah, he's great. In fact, there's a Deep Work is a book. I think Cal Rippencourt. That's not his last name. I made that up.
Cal Rippencourt.
Cal Davenport. Something with a port. Anyway, about just working deeper. We tend to all work surface ways, and it's problematic for our well-being. It really is. And so he actually shares when Jung had a really busy medical practice. He had a wife. He had kids. In the city. I think he was in Geneva or Austria. I forgot where he was. Yeah. And so he built this like stone house in the countryside woods, like, really pretty dark, and didn't sound like very inviting. Anyway, and he would just leave and go to this house and just write and do his deep work. And so we would not have people, if you cannot find space and time to have deep work, we would not have Carl Jung.
That's true.
But just this idea of like, thinking and going deeper, and like his history is pretty interesting. And a lot of people you might find, as you scratch the surface around like that music you were talking about with Sting, that there's a lot of fans and followers of Jung. In fact, I mean, a lot of nerd stuff too. You guys maybe don't realize is Jung.
Sure. Yeah. No, I can see that.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
So you should get to know him. Get to know Jung.
Get to know Jung.
Yeah. He did a little bit of LSD research as well for a while there. Hubba. I don't know why I said that.
Who hasn't at this point?
Yeah. Who's not on LSD right now?
Who's not doing LSD on this call?
On this call. Well, this is great. Wendi is always awesome, and I'm personally excited just because I get to see my sisters in Vegas. But I know everybody else is pretty jazzed about it as well. So yeah, that'll be fun next week, and it's supposed to be nice, so like 82 degrees when we get there.
Oh, it's gonna be hot and melty.
Schedule some pool time.
I don't have any clothes. What am I gonna do?
I have the same problem.
Help me.
No, that's not a problem on Fremont Street. It is a problem on the Strip. But,
yeah, Saturday night on Fremont, you'll fit right in. You'll do great.
I got 40,000 sweaters. I'm not prepared, but it's gonna be fun. So we'll try to do a Real Steps thing. We'll reach out to people so they kind of know, and then
awesome.
And then you guys have me doing stuff, right? I'm gonna be on a panel.
Yeah. Oh, believe me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got stuff.
You got plans.
Brian, are you gonna make me play a video game?
No.
Oh gosh, no.
No, but if you want to go,
might.
You want to go to that arcade thing on, you may be gone by then. When do you guys leave? How late
Thursday.
are you? Thursday. Oh, you could maybe go.
You'll be around for the video game.
We're going to this video game tournament where it's all old games like Dad used to have.
Oh, that's so fun.
It is fun. You should go to that. Kim just sits at a booth and yaps with all her buddies from the event, but Brian and I actually compete, and we got, I don't know how many people are competing. It's like 60.
64.
64.
I think I have 61 names in there, and I just added 3. Oops, I forgot to sign up names, so we'll have 64.
So Wendi, if you're old like Battlezone or the Missile Command,
let me just tell you this: I'm really good at those games. I thought you were gonna make me do a modern game.
No, these are old classics.
No.
We'd love to have. You're very and she's very competitive. Wendi is. She would be very.
Here's the thing.
Cool.
There's this place. If you ever come to Minneapolis, anyone go. It's called Can Wonderland, and it was like an old, industrial building that they've retrofitted, and it is full of old video games. You pay $10 and you can come play for as long as you want, and more pinball machines than I've ever seen in my life. But it has 100-year-old games, wooden. The first race car driving game is wooden. I can't even describe it.
That sounds awesome.
It's the craziest thing. It's super, super fun. And then
old mechanical, like pre-pinball stuff.
And I'm awesome at the old ones. I'm really good at old things.
So you'll like this then.
I think you should come in there.
Please
Even
do.
if you don't compete, I want you to play Joust or something and blow our minds with your prowess.
Sure.
It's
That'll
Wendi.
be so fun.
Have a fantastic week. Realsteps.org, everybody, if you want to hear about or study up on what that's all about. Wendi, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Have a safe flight from the Twin Cities, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you hope. All right, check this out. We're done, but I want to mention a couple upcoming things. You already mentioned today, Coverville, 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
1 p.m. Mountain Time. Bicycle. And of course, that song will be part of it.
I would assume so.
Twitch.tv/Coverville.
Yep. So get in there, get that done. Tonight, Core, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Me, John, Bo. We got a big show today, and we won't be missing next week. We're just going to push it to Friday. So after I get back from Vegas, we'll have a Core. So that'll be fun.
Wow.
Should be a new diary episode today, and also tomorrow, Couch Party Live will be the first half of Vegas Vacation.
Correct.
And then I think 2 weeks later we'll see the final half.
That's right. It'll be it'll be a Vegas sandwich. We'll have Vegas Vacation Part 1, Vegas, and then Vegas Vacation Part 2.
I can't think of any better way to support our trip than this. So anyway, that's tomorrow. That'll be at 10 a.m. Mountain for those who are not aware. If you are a patron, then you're in. If you are not able to be there and you're still a patron, we put up the video now so you can see it later, and there's audio as well. So watch for that. Big thanks to all our Patreon people for making that possible. Patreon.com/TMS is the place to go. Go learn all about the benefits of joining us over there and do it today. That'll do it for us. Let's get out of here with a song. What do you got?
Toots McLaren wrote in.
What?
I want to hear Toots on the Moon. Toots. Toots.
Wow.
Hi, Brian. Finally, after 3 years, my birthday lands on an episode day. Hopefully my request is chosen to play a cover of The Cult. It's difficult to find a good one. Firewoman by Jizzy Pearl will do. If you don't know of a better one, here's to me turning 52. Cheers, mate.
Oh, my gosh.
Let's party.
Congrats. Welcome to the club.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And sorry, this is a couple days late. We had a ton of requests for this week, and so I had it's a couple days late, Toots, but I hope you'll forgive me for that. It's just fun saying Toots.
It is
hey,
fun
Toots.
saying Toots, right? Yeah. I feel like it's such an old term. We don't get to say it the way people used to say it. So
That's right.
It's fun to have someone's name where we can actually have a chance to dig that thing up.
Exactly. Or if you're an old jazz musician, then it'd be pronounced Toots. Toots. Hear
Toots
Toots
Magoo.
blowing that horn. Oh, he's great. Anyway, Firewoman, originally by The Cult, performed here by Jizzy Pearl. I found this on a great collection called 150 80s hair metal undercover hits. So it's an album of several albums of 80s hair metal covers, including this one. I wouldn't necessarily call The Cult hair metal, but whatever. Here is Jizzy Pearl and Firewoman.
All right, here it is. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back not next week. This is our goodbye for the podcast for at least one Earth week. Okay, everybody?
Right.
But there will be content from Vegas. We'll have
Don't
some
say
live
at least
streaming.
one Earth week. It'll be one Earth week, or it'll really be
a maximum of one Earth week. Exactly.
Right. We will be back on May 1st.
That's right. And you'll be here with us, and it'll be great. For those of you who can't attend, you're like, oh, all that week with no content? I promise you we'll be putting stuff up. May not be full shows, but we're putting stuff up. And when it's all over, our live show will be on the feed. Okay? So everyone, just chill the F out. Just kidding. All right, that's it for us. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.
If you like what you just heard, there's a very good chance you will like all the shows on the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
BFG.
Yeah. There's a BFG
Oh, happy birthday to Logan.